pathways within poverty. You know, I want to start with a few sayings. First of all, seems like the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It's harder to go up, it's easier to go down when you're in poverty. You know, I'd have to say that my progression came from my mistakes and my failure. So, really, my success is a tragedy. And I'm not trying to make it sound cool or complicated, but really what I'm trying to say is if I didn't fail first, I probably would have still been a procrastinator. I probably would have never given 100% of my mind and my power into things that I want or things I want to achieve or better in myself. The biggest problem is when you wake up every day and you have to start over from the same judgment. It doesn't matter what you have done. For example, is the same as being banned from a facility or banned on a PlayStation, banned on a video game, banned in the community, banned from a country. You can't just show up. And even if you do somehow, what's going to happen is once they find out that you were there, they're going to kick you back out. That's going to put you back to square one. So as a reference, you're always going back to square one. Some of the problem with my success is that I made mistakes that made me become cut out. And a good message to say is if you're a mother or a father, a friend, and you have a daughter or son that you are cutting out of your kingdom, or if you know a friend that you're cutting out of your kingdom because they're not progressing at the rate that you want or at an acceptable rate among the community, there are a few things that are going to happen. Okay, you cut them out. That means that you are no longer providing care for them, whether it is against your will or within your will. This is an important note because how can you get mad or how can you go around and try to stop them from everything else if you already cut them out of your kingdom? They are basically on a mode of survival now. And I think that's why I have a problem with people that want to say, we hate these hoods. Not because I'm trying to create an area, okay, to, I think people probably think of a hood as somewhere you can do certain things and get away with certain things. I'm not trying to create that. What I'm trying to say is, if you cut somebody out of your kingdom, you have a perimeter around your kingdom. So why are you going outside of your perimeter on something that's not barging into yours? So what I'm saying is you basically have men and women on survival mode, but you're going out there and then you're eliminating their government assistance and their resources and their hard work because not everyone has given up, or some people still have enough to keep going. And I think that's why the poor get poorer, because then all of a sudden what they're doing is not good enough. Even if they're, working their tail off every time, they're hitting the mark every time, they're using 18 hours of the day after work, they still do other activities that are pushing them towards their goals. But as soon as they start getting weeded out because they got cut out of the kingdom, but somehow were able to put together knowledge and resources to at least survive, their survivability is higher than others, and I think that is the push-pull that's going to happen. The other half of it is, you have people that are saying like, oh, this is hood stuff, but really you're putting a big target on yourself, because if you got cut out of the kingdom, now I'm gonna tell you, some people in the hood little small secret. Some people in the hood are actually leaders of the community. The people, the same people that rally together, they are there trying to help others function. So this is the harsh reality is really, if you cutting somebody out the kingdom and you're attacking where they are, how are they going to ever get ahead? What are you doing to help them see above poverty? Help them see your standard. I feel like involvement, something has to change, man. Especially when you base your issue on something that came from somewhere else and migrates in. I think that people need to stand together. Those that were there need to become leaders and authorities of their areas and say, this is who we had around. This is who we trust around. This is what we do. And anything that doesn't fall into that is an outsider. Something like that is going to have to happen. But, the other problem is some people start getting ahead and they're progressing, and then resources start getting cut back. Like, for example, I knew how to survive moving out of my apartment. All of a sudden, my pay gets cut. Now I'm getting paid less. Well, how the hell am I supposed to get another apartment and now I'm making less money? It's driving me down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I learned more about the trucking business. Now all of a sudden my pay goes down. How the hell am I supposed to buy my own truck if I can't even afford another apartment? Well, I'm going to have to make some sacrifices, And I think that's when rules become broken, because we're put in a point where there's nothing else you can do about it. And the one thing I know is, despite how it's going, it still comes down to knowledge is power. Forming good habits, creating knowledge, realizing what markets are available to utilize, what markets are strong markets that are hard to take away, and get into that, leaving procrastination behind, laziness behind, and realizing that, all these corporations were built from somebody that actually had to do all of the work every time. And until they couldn't even do the basic tasks anymore because their tasks became so advanced, the things they had to keep up with, then all of a sudden they needed to hire assistants. Can you please go handle this paperwork? Can you buy these supplies and bring it to me so that I can focus on my next level of goals? But we'll never get there if we don't push ourselves, and that's something that I'm trying to go through right now. But still, the poor get poorer, and it's hard to go up from here. But I'm trying my hardest to create something. And I've seen some people say don't share your dreams with others because people will make it harder for you. But I think that's 50-50. With a strong market or a strong industry, they can't exactly stop the industry. Some industries, some markets, they can stop you, and it's best not to. But you figure, even if you boom, jumped right in, had a good strong start, they say it's the first 2 years, 6 months, a year, 18 months. Those same people are going to catch up with you at some point. You got to make sure you have the tools and stability to continue. Once they show up and try to rip you apart, you have to be a master. You have to understand every aspect at that point. But just getting started, sometimes shooting from out of the dark will get you the boost you need. But I'm at a point where I'm sharing my plans, and let's see if they can tear me apart before I even start. Because if I can still break through that moment, they're gonna know that I knew. You know what I'm saying? So, pathways within poverty, or something like that.